Today's flashback movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981. And we're going to look a little at the background of the movie, what it's about and who the stars were, including some of the other work they've done. If you like what you see, please consider giving it a thumbs up, it really helps me. And if you want to see more, then you could even subscribe to the channel, that would be great. Raiders of the Lost Ark was released in June 1981 by Paramount Pictures, with a running time of just a touch under 2 hours. It was nominated for no less than 8 Oscars in the Best Picture, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Original Score, Best Sound, Best Art Direction, Best Effects, and finally Best Film Editing categories. Raiders of the Lost Ark actually took away an amazing 5 Oscars on the night, including a Special Achievement Award for Sound Effects Editing. The story was written by Lawrence Kasdan, Philip Kaufman and George Lucas, and the movie itself was directed by Steven Spielberg. Filming was done in Tunisia with a budget of $18 million, and it went on to gross almost $390 million worldwide. Nice little return, not bad for a movie made at the beginning of the 1980s. An epic tale in which an intrepid archaeologist tries to beat a band of Nazis to a unique religious relic which is central to their plans for world domination. Battling against a snake phobia and a vengeful ex-girlfriend, Indiana Jones is in constant peril, making hair's breadth escapes at every turn in this celebration of the innocent adventures movies of an earlier era. For me, this is nothing short of a masterpiece for its genre. But with a mind like George Lucas and the expertise of Steven Spielberg, should we expect anything less? Raiders of the Lost Ark is an introduction into the adventures of Indiana Jones, the badass archaeologist professor. Throughout the movie we explore the many mystical places that make up the Jones universe, and with a villain as hated as the Nazis, how could it possibly go wrong? This is a turn off your brain and enjoy type movie. Don't think it's going to be anything else.
You're a man of many talents.
The star of the show, of course, is Harrison Ford, and this is the first time he donned his trusty fedora and bullwhip as Indiana Jones, the intrepid archaeologist. Ford was born in Chicago, Illinois, back in 1942, but now lives on a sprawling ranch in Jackson, Wyoming, with his third wife, Callista Flockhart. This is one of the roles he's best known for, along with that of Han Solo in Star Wars, of course. But Ford was discovered by George Lucas while he was working as a $150 a week jobbing actor and carpenter, going on to appear in 1973's American Graffiti as a result. Since that movie, he's amassed a personal fortune of around $300 million. And if I had that much money at his age, I would definitely think about retiring. Born in Carrollton, Illinois in 1951, Karen Allen portrayed tough bar owner Marion Ravenwood, who is also Jones's former lover. She made her major movie debut in 1978 in National Lampoon's Animal House, and she quickly followed that with an appearance in The Wanderers. Taking the role of Marion was career-changing for Karen, and is the one she is most known for. Over the years, Karen has also starred in the sci-fi movie Starman, Bill Murray's Christmas comedy Scrooged, and Spike Lee's Malcolm X. On the small screen, she's had guest appearances in Law & Order and a short stint as Alison Matson in The Road Home. In 2008, she revived her character Marion Ravenwood in Indiana Jones and Temple of the Crystal Skull, in which she revealed to Indy that they had a son who was called Mutt Williams, and he was played by Shia LaBeouf. Most recently, Karen has appeared as Sheriff Stallings in the TV series 50 States of Fright. In 1998, she married actor Cale Brown and they had a son, but they divorced again in 1998. As of 2015, she lives in Massachusetts and works as a stage director, but she also has her own textile company, Karen Allen Fibre Arts, which she started in 2003. Paul Freeman was born in Barnet, England in 1943 and played the part of archaeologist Dr. Rene Belloq, Jones's rival, who was in the employ of the Nazis. Having begun his working life in advertising and teaching, Freeman made his TV acting debut in 1978. His first movie roles came along in 1980 with The Long Good Friday and Dogs of War. His appearance in Raiders led him to being cast in a lot of villainous roles, and he played the conniving wine baron Gustav Reibman in the fourth season of Falcon Crest. Freeman has also starred in movies such as Without a Clue, Power Rangers and Hot Fuzz during his career. On the small screen, he is best known as Martin in the romantic TV series Yesterday's Dream, but more recently he's enjoyed an extended stint as Warren Byrne in the TV show Absentia, which began in 2017. He's been married to his second wife Maggie Scott since 1986, and they have a daughter together. Born in Harrow, Middlesex in 1935, Ronald William Lacy played the role of the sadistic and ruthless Nazi Gestapo agent Major Arnold Todt, who was seeking to locate the Ark of the Covenant. Lacy is perhaps best known for his TV work, playing Harris in Porridge and the Bishop of Bath in Blackadder 2. But after Spielberg cast him in Raiders, Lacy went on to appear as the villain in a number of Hollywood movies such as Sahara, Red Sonja and Firefox. Married to Mella White from 1962 to 1969, he had 2 children. He then had another child with his second wife Joanna Baker, who he married in 1973 until her death in 1989. Lacy himself was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer in 1991, and he died less than a month later at the age of 55. Welsh actor John RhysDavies was born in Salisbury in the United Kingdom in 1944 and played Indiana's friend and professional excavator Salah, who lives in Cairo. Although his acting career began in the 70s, most of his work was on the small screen in supporting roles until he landed a longer stint as Agent Michael Malone on The Untouchables, and then as Maximilian Arturo on Sliders, despite the fact that he had already appeared in 2 Indiana Jones movies by this time. Certainly, taking the role of Gimli the Dwarf in the Lord of the Rings franchise has helped boost his profile to another level entirely. More recently, RhysDavies has starred on the small screen as Cutter in Fresh Eggs and Galahad in Wizards. He married Suzanne Wilkinson in 1966, and they had 2 sons together. Although they legally separated in 1985, they remained married until her death from Alzheimer's disease in 2010, and he took care of her in her final years. In 2004, RhysDavies began dating Lisa Manning. They have a daughter together, and split their time between homes in New Zealand and the Isle of Man. Born in 1922 in Ealing, London, Denim Elliott played the role of Indy's bumbling English colleague and curator of the National Museum, Dr. Marcus Brodie. Having made his movie debut back in 1949, Elliott specialised in playing slightly eccentric and often flawed upper-middle-class English gentlemen. His career spanned nearly 40 years, becoming a well-known face both in Britain and in the States. During that time, he starred in the likes of Trading Places, A Room with a View, and Bangkok Hilton, as well as the 2 Indiana Jones movies he can be seen in. Secretly bisexual, Elliott was married twice, first to actress Virginia McKenna for a few months in 1954, and later in an open marriage to American actress Susan Robinson, with whom he had 2 children. Elliott was diagnosed with HIV in 1987 and died of AIDS-related tuberculosis at his home in Spain in 1992 at the age of 70. Character actor Wolf Kahler was born in Kiel, Germany in 1940 and played Nazi Colonel Hermann Dietrich, who was the commanding officer that sealed Indy and Marion in the tomb with the snakes. Having begun his acting career back in the mid-70s, Kahler is often cast as a Nazi or unsympathetic German character due to his height and blue eyes. However, over the years, he has also taken advantage of his German accent to provide the voices for a number of video games too. Having appeared in the likes of The Boys from Brazil and The Dirty Dozen early in his career, more recently he can be seen as the German commander in Wonder Woman and Dr. Hoffmannsthal in Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. Anthony Higgins was born in Northampton in 1947 and played the part of Dietrich's right-hand man, Major Gobler. After becoming a professional stage actor in 1967, Higgins' first TV appearances came a couple of years later, with his first movie being A Walk with Love and Death with Anjelica Huston. I'm not going to pretend that Higgins had a sparkling career, and many of the movies he appeared in I have never heard of, let alone seen. But you may have. Movies like Something for Everyone, Taste the Blood of Dracula, and The Draftsman's Contract. More recently, Higgins has appeared in some mainstream British TV shows like Lewis, Law & Order UK, and Agatha Christie's Marple. Don Fellows was born in Salt Lake City, Utah in 1922, and was raised in Madison, Wisconsin. He played the part of Colonel Musgrove, who hired Jones to recover the Ark of the Covenant for the United States before the Nazis found it. Fellows moved to London in 1973 with the intention of furthering his TV and theatre career, and so much of his early work was in British television shows like Z-Cars, The Bill and Inspector Morse. His movie debut came in 1976 when he appeared in both Spy Story and The Omen, and since Raiders of the Lost Ark, he has worked on such movies as Who Dares Wins, Electric Dreams and Superman 4. Fellows married his second wife Miranda in 1970, and they were together until he died of heart failure in London in 2007. Born in Dallas, Texas in 1948, William Michael Hootins played the role of Colonel Musgrove's right-hand man, Major Eaton, who gets lost while supervising the storage of the Ark in the enormous warehouse. Hootins was actually interviewed by the FBI during their investigation into the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, because Oswald's wife and children had been living with his Russian teacher at the time. He moved to London to train at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art in the early 70s, and stayed there until 2002, when he returned to Los Angeles. As well as Raiders, Hootins has also appeared in such blockbusters as Flash Gordon, Star Wars and Batman, which made him a welcome figure at fan conventions. Hootins was also a much sought after voice artist, leading him to record numerous plays, audiobooks and video games. Having been married to Polly from 1973 until their divorce in 2005, Hoot had only just married his second wife Carolyn Robb when he died from pancreatic cancer in Santa Monica, California in 2005, at the age of just 57. George Harris was born in Grenada in the British West Indies, as it was at the time, in 1949, and played smuggler and captain of a Bantu Wind tramp steamer, Simon Katanga. Having begun his acting career in the early 1970s, Harris became the first black detective on British television when he took the title role of Winston Churchill Walcott in the TV show Walcott in 1981. Harris's other most notable movie roles have come as Kingsley Shacklebolt in the Harry Potter film series, Morty in Layer Cake, and real-life Somali warlord Osman Ali Atto in the 2001 film Black Hawk Down. More recently, we have seen Harris return to the small screen as Errol Hill in 55 Degrees North and Darius Scott in Star Hunter Redux. He also enjoyed a stint as Clive King in Casualty. Filmmaker Frank Wilden Marshall was born in Glendale, California in 1946 and had a cameo role in the movie, appearing as the pilot of the Flying Wing. Along with Steven Spielberg, Marshall was one of the founders of Amblin Entertainment in 1981, which has gone on to become one of the industry's most productive and profitable production companies. Marshall's feature film directing debut was the 1990 thriller Arachnophobia, starring Jeff Daniels, but since then his company has produced such blockbusters as The Sixth Sense, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, War Horse, and the Jason Bourne series. He's currently producing Jurassic World Dominion, the third film in the Jurassic World trilogy. Francis Patrick Roach was born in Birmingham in 1937 and plays two parts in the movie. He's the huge Nazi that fights with Indy at the side of a flying wing, and he's also one of Toad's Nepalese Sherpas. Possibly due to his immense size, Roach stood 6'5" with huge shoulders and the barrel of a chest. As well as a career in acting, he was also a professional wrestler, going under the name of Bomber Pat Roach, and he held both the British and European heavyweight championships at one time. Having made his acting debut as the red-bearded bouncer in the Korova Milk Bar in Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, Roach went on to appear in the likes of Red Sonja, Conan the Destroyer and Willow, as well as the Indiana Jones movies. He married Doreen Harris in 1957 and they had 2 children together, but he sadly died of cancer in 2004. Born in London in 1953 with an Italian mother and a Spanish father, Alfred Molina played the role of Satipo, the greedy Peruvian guide and thief who helped Indy to get the Chachapoyan fertility idol. Having started his career in the late 70s, Raiders was his movie debut, but he must be one of those actors who is always working on something, because he's managed to accrue more than 200 credits to his name. His best known roles include Rahad Jackson in Boogie Nights, Comte de Reno in Chocolat, Diego Rivera in Frida, and Bishop Aringarosa in The Da Vinci Code. He has also voiced characters in Rango, Monsters University, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Frozen 2. He portrayed Otto Octavius, or Dr. Octopus, in Spider-Man 2 in 2004, and will reprise the role in Spider-Man No Way Home. He's also been busy on the small screen recently, with Robot Chicken, Wizards, and providing voices for Summer Camp Island. Currently living in Los Angeles, Molina's first wife, Jill Gascoigne, who he married in 1986, passed away in 2020, and in 2021 he married Jennifer Lee. Born in London in 1932, actor and stuntman David Terence Richard portrayed the famous Arab swordsman who Indy simply shoots in the Market Square fight scene. Over the years, Richards has worked on 9 James Bond movies, fought as a stuntman in scenes with Indiana Jones, James Bond, Luke Skywalker and Rambo, and doubled for Donald Sutherland, Tom Selleck and Christopher Lee. In addition to Raiders and those Bond movies, Richards has also worked on the likes of Red Sonja, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, and Superman 4, amongst many others. Richards died in his hometown of Ruislip in London in 2014. The cause of his death was not disclosed, but he was 81 years old.